Okay guys, so we're back with another video explaining what exactly is going to be happening with Phase 4, if it's even called that, in the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe after the 4th Avengers movie. Now obviously in recent memory we've learned that Guardians of the Galaxy is kind of going to kick off Phase 4, if you will, with Avengers, no longer being the same team, the Guardians not being the same team, and they're kind of going to just go on with some of the franchises they have. Captain Marvel is probably being set up for a trilogy, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, who knows what else they have in the pipeline. And with that in mind, the uncertainty of Marvel, specifically their legacy characters like Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, is really up in the air, and we don't really know where they can go with it. Now, at the same time, when you really think about it, this is kind of huge considering that Marvel's Phase 1 is what was pitched literally on a shoestring budget for 4 to 5 movies. And I've covered this in my retrospectives. If you guys want that, I'll annotate the playlist up there so you guys can go catch up on the entirety of what's happening. But essentially, they had a small budget to make Phase 1. And they went out of their way and they put it together. And history is there for you right now as they changed Hollywood forever. And Marvel is now the biggest film franchise in history and the biggest brand in the world. And when you think about that, you might start to say, well, why would they want to do away with these phases? And I think the big thing that you have to look at is the fact that when you go out there, they've been setting up Thanos from the very start. And it's when his time comes, where do you go from there? Now, of course, many of us have discussed, is it going to be Dormammu or something like that? But we don't really know. But Kevin Feige did have this to say, and I quote, "We've been lucky that contracts haven't factored in too much. We've had people under contract for certain films. Then we had new ideas and new directions like Civil War, like we wanted to do. And we've been lucky enough to make new contracts, or Spider-Man Homecoming. The cast has been awesome in their enthusiasm for the direction and storylines that we've been telling." So it really does, right now, all start with where we want to take the stories. Certainly, we get to do Infinity War. There is a sense of climax, if not a conclusion too. By the time we're at the untitled Avengers 4, the 22 movies that we have encompassed the first 3 phases of the MCU, and what happens after that will be very different. I don't know if it's Phase 4, it might be a new thing. Now obviously, like I said, the whole phase thing really redefined Hollywood and what it meant to do. And when you think about it, what he's saying here is, maybe we won't have phases. Maybe there doesn't have to be an overarching villain. Maybe there doesn't have to be this crazy, guy out there that everything's building up towards. Maybe we can scale that backwards. And I'm actually going to make a theory video on how they could do this a little bit later on. But I really understand what he's saying here from that standpoint, is that not everything has to just be a repeat of building up towards one giant climax villain. So hopefully that kind of explains it to you guys. And let me know what you guys think you would want to see past Phase 3, and what do you think Marvel is going to do to change up the quote-unquote phases?